Have you ever come across a fighter who seems more like a meditation master than a ruthless warrior? Someone whose soft voice and calm gaze would make you think his most lethal weapon is a mantra. However, in the octagon, these quiet, docile-looking fighters transform into true fighting machines. Today we'll reveal the 7 fighters who are the least intimidating at first glance, but whose lightning-fast moves and lethal techniques leave their opponents speechless. This list will defy all your expectations. Get ready to discover why you should never judge a book by its cover. Ryan Hall. Can you imagine someone who looks more like a yoga instructor than a relentless warrior? That's Ryan Hall. At 6 feet 1 inch tall and with a slender build, he walks around the press room with the calm of a conscious breathing guru. His soft, measured voice sounds almost like a mantra in every interview, and his philosophical explanations about jiu-jitsu would leave you thinking more about meditation than combat. But in the octagon, Hall becomes a technical beast. With the ingenuity of a chess player on the ground, he deploys perfect triangles and flying armbar attacks that have left veterans speechless. His submissions have earned him victories hailed as some of the most creative in UFC history. Despite his harmless appearance, his opponents know that underestimating him means facing a finish in seconds. Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper looks more like a high school kid than a fearsome contender. At just 22 years old, he stands barely 6 feet 1 inch and displays youthful features, with a round face, smooth skin, and a shy smile reminiscent of a model high school student. His soft, clipped voice sounds more like a young student making his first appearance than a warrior ready to render an opponent unconscious. In interviews, Hooper speaks with an almost disconcerting humility. He thanks his coaches and teammates with a calm tone, avoids aggressive language, and conveys the impression that he's discussing a biology class rather than an MMA fight. This offensive demeanor has earned him the label of quiet fighter, but as soon as the bell rings, the story changes completely. Inside the octagon, Hooper displays a powerful blend of ground and pound and elite endurance. His opponents are surprised by the speed and volume of his low-impact punches, combined with a solid defense that allows him to endure long exchanges and wear and tear. In 2020, he defeated an undefeated veteran opponent, proving that his endless cardio and mental stamina exceeded any expectations based on his youthful appearance. The contradiction between his harmless presence and his controlled aggression leaves you wondering, how can someone who looks like a high school student dominate a professional ring? This paradox makes us value his every move even more. Now, get ready to discover the next fighter who shatters all first impressions. Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly looks more like a journalist than a relentless contender. At 6 feet 11 inches tall, with a slim build, a neat beard, and thin-framed glasses, his presence evokes the calm of an expert commentator, not the aggression of a fighter. When he speaks, his measured, analytical voice conveys the sense that he's breaking down fight statistics, rather than preparing a plan to finish it. In the media, Kelly maintains that same demeanor. He carefully explains each technique, cites Olympic wrestling concepts, and details his ground strategies as if teaching a jiu-jitsu masterclass. There's no trash talk or provocations, just an impeccable, almost academic discourse. His impeccable strategy and understanding of the fight have earned him respect as an extreme innovator. But when the bell rings, the narrative shifts. Dan uses his excellent wrestling foundation to control the fight, taking down bigger opponents with precise entrances. Once on the ground, he deploys an arsenal of creative submissions and fluid transitions that are astonishingly effective. This contrast between the untouchable serenity of the commentator and the ferocity of the athlete is what makes Kelly a phenomenon. By underestimating him, his opponents often pay the price on the mat, learning a lesson in technique and patience. Roxanne Modafferi. Roxanne Modafferi is the personification of calm in the octagon. At 5 feet 7 inches and with a slight build, her nickname, the Queen of Calm, couldn't be more apartment. Her soft voice and gentle laugh are disarming in interviews, where she thanks coaches and fans with a warm, almost maternal tone, avoiding any form of trash talk and focusing on the human aspect of the sport. However, when the bell rings, Modafferi reveals her true power. A pioneer of women's MMA, she has forged a legendary career thanks to her unwavering durability and creative submissions, capable of surprising even the most experienced opponents. Over more than 2 decades of experience, she has transformed her conciliatory demeanor into a lethal strategy, using her low center of gravity and guard control to wear down opponents and seal fights with unexpected chokes and spectacular crunching finishes. This contrast between the endearing, cool grandma figure and the tireless warrior inside the cage turns each of her fights into a spectacle filled with tension and admiration. She has also competed in 4 different weight classes, demonstrating a surprising adaptability that bolsters her arsenal, and has received several Submission of the Night awards, earning the respect of both her peers and rivals. How can someone with that maternal aura end up submitting opponents with such ferocity? Now that you know her story, prepare to discover the next fighter who defies all expectations. John Dodson. John Dodson looks more like a children's television host than an MMA fighter. At just 5 feet 6 inches and with soft features, his slightly high-pitched voice and constant smile make him seem harmless. At press conferences, he jokes, smiles, and avoids aggression, projecting an image of a friendly, approachable guy. However, in the octagon, Dodson transforms. A 2-time UFC flyweight title challenger, he has proven that his short reach is no obstacle to unleashing lightning speed. His punches come out like lightning, and his high kicks baffle taller opponents. In his 2013 fight with Demetrius Johnson, although he lost, he demonstrated his ability to exchange volume without flinching. What sets Dodson apart is his ironclad cardio and indomitable heart. He withstands constant pressure and counters with relentless volume. His career also includes knockout victories in less than a minute, such as his lightning-fast KO of T.J. Dillashaw in 2011. This combination of friendly appearance and explosive aggression makes his every appearance a real surprise magnet. Who would have imagined that the friendly guy from the corner coffee shop would turn into a hurricane of punches at the sound of the bell? His story confirms that courage and speed can compensate for any disadvantage. Get ready to meet another master of lethal camouflage. Demian Maia. Demian Maia could pass for one of those Instagram meditation masters rather than an octagon gladiator. At 1.83 m tall, with an athletic build and a serene face, his deep, measured tone makes him more like a philosophy professor than a predator seeking the ultimate payback. In every interview, Maia cites Jiu-Jitsu concepts, breathes consciously, and praises mutual respect, projecting the image of a Zen master rather than a feral fighter. However, when the bell rings, he deploys a grappling arsenal that has placed him among the best of all time. A 2-time world Jiu-Jitsu medalist, he has submitted opponents with flawless transitions and lightning-fast chokes. His MMA record exceeds 30 submission victories, reinforcing his reputation as a dominant fighter on the ground. His victory over Chael Sonnen at UFC 95 and his Submission of the Night awards are testament to his controlled lethality. Trainers know that if someone falls to the ground in front of him, they face a whirlwind of locks and chokes. This paradox between the Zen master and the beast of the mat generates an irresistible fascination. Each of his fights invites you to wonder when he will unleash his genius. How does someone who talks about life philosophy end up giving jiu-jitsu lessons in the cage? If you think calm equals passivity, let Maia prove you wrong. Uriah Faber. Uriah, the California Kid Faber, closes our list with the smile of your friendliest neighbor, rather than that of a fearsome fighter. At 5 feet 7 inches and with a slight build, his youthful face and friendly demeanor make him look like someone inviting people to a barbecue rather than an MMA match. His language is riddled with "sir" and "thank you," and his laid-back, buddy demeanor has made him a fan favorite. At press conferences, Faber speaks with such a friendly tone that it's hard to imagine him throwing devastating blows. However, in the octagon, a tenacious warrior emerges. A pioneer in several weight classes, he twice challenged for the bantamweight title and dominated the world scene for years. His ferocious wrestling and knockout power belied that cool guy facade. He has knocked out opponents with lethal hooks and showcased ground transitions that were surprisingly quick and effective. This duality between the friendliness of a barbecue friend and the ferocity of a knockout artist inspires admiration. His underrated opponents have paid dearly for their audacity to ignore his good nature. His legacy includes founding one of the first MMA promotions in California and serving as an inspiration to future generations of fighters. In his fight against Mike Brown, he demonstrated his devastating power. The peaceful appearance of these fighters teaches us not to judge by appearances. Ryan Hall, Chase Hooper, Dan Kelly, Roxanne Modafferi, John Dodson, Demian Maia, and Uriah Faber share a deceptive serenity that hides devastating techniques and truly impressive records. In each case, their soft voice, friendly gesture, and serene demeanor contrast with truly devastating moves. Triangles, creative submissions, lightning speed, and lethal strikes. These stories challenge the stereotype that a fighter must intimidate with shouting to be dangerous. Knowing their trajectories shows that technical mastery and patience can be more powerful than open aggression. The next time you see a calm fighter, remember that behind the serenity may hide a true warrior. If you enjoyed this ranking, subscribe to the channel and like the video for more content like this.